Good evening, everybody. It's Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
All right, welcome. It's good to be back. 2 weeks off of the Wrestleview post-Raw show. This is Wrestleview post-Raw number 41. And yeah, it's nice to be back here with you all. Where have we been these last 2 weeks? I am sure you are wondering. Hello, everybody. I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat room real quick. We got some people with us. Let me actually get to the regular chat room. Ooh, of course I closed it out. I will reopen it. As I reopen it, I know I saw Daniel Schell in there. I know I saw Nafi Sadat. I know I saw Randy. Actually, I don't know anything. I don't think I know much at all. But I am trying. I don't know why I literally just closed the stupid window.
It's because you were talking about it and then you just, clicked.
I just crapped the bed on that one. Darn
it's
it.
all right. It's okay.
Oh, well. We'll figure it out eventually. All right. We are here to talk about an episode of Raw that actually, mercifully, hey, not bad. But before we do that, let's tell you where we've been, okay? We're not going to make a big, stinky deal about it, but we've had a couple things happen to us over the last 2 weeks that have rocked our world a little bit, especially pertaining to the health of little baby Tedesco. And number one, I am very proud to announce, me and Mommy are very proud to announce that we are having a sweet little girl. So we're very, very excited about that. Quentin Walters in the chat room, Billy Hefner, Kit Dyson, Randy M. Yes, I knew I saw Randy in there. Sweet Lou. I said Nafis already. And if you're in the chat room and I haven't said hi to you yet, just say hello and I'll make sure I say your name. Okay, so you tilt your camera down a little bit. Your head's getting cut off. But anyway, just want to make sure she's seen, Nobody's tuning in to look at my face. I'll tell you that. I know that.
Can you see me now?
Yes, I see you. I see you just fine. Mr. V's in the chat room too. Welcome, Mr. V. So yeah, we're having a little baby girl. Are we telling the name or no?
I mean, most people know, but nah. Let's
Okay. Well, we'll announce the name when she's born then. Okay. Well, unfortunately, when we went for our 20-week ultrasound, they found something in little baby girl Tedesco's back. And that sent us on just a long, long week of wondering what it is and then going to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And unfortunately, our little girl, well, not unfortunately, number one, she's going to be born, she's going to be beautiful. Everything's going to be totally fine with her. Let's just preface it with that. That's how we've been prefacing it to our family. That's for sure. And she's going to be born with this condition called lipomyelinomeningocele. I think I said it right.
Yeah, we're still not sure.
We're still not sure on the last part, but I know it's lipomyelinomeningocele or seal, one of those. It's a mild. It's a form of spina bifida, where a fatty lipoma has tethered itself to her spinal cord and will have to be removed. They will have to do surgery on her at around 3 months old. But you want to tell them the good news.
It's closed, spina bifida.
It's closed,
and
so that's important.
She will be able to walk, which is great. She will have leg braces for a duration of the younger years of her life.
Perhaps. Yeah.
Perhaps. But they said she's going to walk. She's going to be fine. Like, it's just a matter of doing what you got to do with her. And, there's not really, we don't know a whole lot of information, but the one thing we do know is that her brain is not affected her brain at all. It's not tethering in that part of her brain, meaning that's why it's closed, spina bifida, not open. Because that would be the full version of it, where it would be affecting her brain. And her heart's really good too. Last week when we went, She was just shy of a pound. I think she's a pound now, though.
Oh yeah, she's more than a pound. We got a big girl on our hands. So,
but she also, she's very active. Like she kicks
mm-hmm.
in the womb and everything, which is really good. They said considering what her condition is, and they said she'll be fine. Like she's gonna have surgery, like Mike said, 3 to 6 months after she's born, and I will have to live at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia for about a month before she's born, just so they can monitor me and everything else. But the doctors were very, very good about it. I mean, they were very informative, and they didn't sugarcoat anything, but they were also very positive in the fact that she's going to walk.
Yes.
Like she will walk independently. She will walk regularly.
Yeah, our prognosis is very good. Some people aren't so lucky, so we are definitely lucky. We are lucky that her brain and her heart are unaffected, and she has the opportunity, if all goes well, all goes according to plan, to live a totally regular life, get married, have kids, be a regular person, without any repercussions from this. So that's what we're rooting for. If you are a religious person or say prayers or anything of the like, or just want to think good thoughts, just keep our little baby
and thank you to everybody
mind.
who's already reached out in general, like even not knowing what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
there's been a lot
that.
of supportive people just in Wrestleview and outside even too that have just been, you know, reaching out to us and sharing stories, and we appreciate it, honestly. The more we know, the better we feel, and the more we hear about it, the more positive things that we've heard about it. People are very similar, even though this is a very rare condition. 1 in 35,000 people have it or diagnosed with it. But
yep,
you'd be surprised at all the people that you're connected to who maybe have something similar.
Yeah. So, bottom line, prognosis good. Lipomyeliomeningocele stinks, but hey, we'll make it through, and so will our little girl.
She's kicking right now, actually.
She's kicking. She's always kicking. So that's a good sign, and we appreciate everybody.
Good job, baby.
We appreciate everybody sending good vibes to us all week, and sending good vibes right now. Quentin Walters, good vibes going your way. Randy M says, on a serious note, if y'all need help down the line, most definitely crowdfund. He'll donate, and many online will. We appreciate that. We're very
Randy.
lucky to have good insurance that's covering a lot of this. So we'll make it through. So all right. We got that out of the way.
See, everyone talked about you.
That's it. We love our little daughter, and she's going to be awesome. She's going to be just fine. So that's good. Okay, now let's talk about some fake stuff. Let's talk about some wrestling.
And wrestling's going to be a huge part of our life. So.
Yes. And you never know. Maybe she'll one day be guest hosting the show with me. For sure. All right. So this. Number one, it's just good to be back talking about wrestling. Just getting things back to
normal.
Getting back to normal here. All right. It was actually really nice to come back to a show that wasn't freaking awful. Everything that's happened so far we found out on a Monday, and I've come home to
I hated Monday. Like I hate Mondays normally, but every Monday has been torture.
I recapped the Raw 2 weeks ago when we found out everything. We didn't want to do a post show that night. We're too much of a cloud, but I still recapped that Raw, and I was like, this sucks. And then last week we came home from Philadelphia after hearing all this crazy news, and I caught like the last hour and a half of Raw, and I was like, this sucks. Wrestling is not cheering me up. Well, wrestling cheered me up tonight because it actually wasn't a bad show at all. This is the go-home show for one of those like really weird names. You know, it's like, I get it, Stomping Ground. Why can't they call it Stomping Ground? It's kind of like remember when they had that show a couple years ago? It was like WWE Roadblock End of the Line was like the tagline to it, but like they had to say it in all the promos. Oh, and that Roadblock End of the Line. It's like no one talks that way. It's like I would say if I was in a promo, if I was going to be meeting somebody somewhere, right. I'd be like, I'll see you at Stomping Ground, not Stomping Grounds. It's like weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kit Dyson, better than Great Balls of Fire. I agree.
Yeah. Great song. Not a good name for a show.
I did like the theme of that show, though. I like that they did like the old 50s theme for that one. So like that was totally fine. Mr. V says they should call the next pay-per-view pizza party. Well, that's about it.
That one I can live with.
Capital Punishment Never Forget. Hashtag by Daniel Schell. That's a hashtag. Yes. And that show, if I remember correctly, I remember I went to a house show the weekend of Capital Punishment. And so I saw most
When was this?
Back in 2011.
Okay.
That's when I met John Cena, actually. And I do remember I watched most of the Capital Punishment cards, so I didn't feel like I had to watch it again on that Sunday. And I caught it like later on that week, and it was Capital Punishment. Yeah, it was a very apropos name. But like this Stomping Grounds, it's like, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't flow for me.
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't.
But anyway, so it's the go home show for that. They're at the Staples Center, and Staples Center is one of their big arenas. That's like, I would say Staples Center is the equivalent of like it's the West Coast Madison Square Garden for WWE.
True statement.
So it seemed like they were trying a little harder here. You know, I can't say that it was entirely dissimilar from like the regular formula of Raw, but they just added a few things to kind of like spice things up. Of course, we had the schmaz that leads to a tag team match, but instead of just doing a tag team match, they made it a 2 out of 3 falls match. You know, which had some questionable booking decisions. We'll get into that.
I do agree, though. I think there were certain aspects of the show overall that didn't, well, and it wasn't even one of those just like, oh, this sucked less than usual. It was, you know,
always a plus,
you know, but like kind of like the standard of what you think, like what you want as of lately. But you know, it was like an old typical Raw, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's kind of like it took a step back from the shows that, like, I mean, seriously, like this is like like one of the great creative down periods of WWE, and one of the great just week to week, no plans whatsoever, just reactionary booking to everything. This is like one of the bad periods in WWE creative. This actually felt just like a regular Raw that I would see
exactly
at any time.
Absolutely.
When things were going fine.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
With an extra hour added on, of course. Of course.
Always can't forget that extra hour.
Never forget 3 hours. Okay. Now before we get into actually reviewing the show, let's see what everybody thought about it. And Victoria, I think you're going to be surprised.
Why?
76% thumbs up.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell me there's a thumbs in the middle. I'm like,
no,
you brought it back?
I did not bring it back. No.
Darn it.
I will no. Thumbs in the middle is gone forever. Forever. As Terry Funk screamed in his
darn it. Oh, well.
As Terry Funk screamed in his 1983
That's what I thought you were going to
retirement
announce.
match.
You made it sound like
forever.
You made it sound like it was going to be that announcement.
No. Forever. Forever. And ever. Kit Tyson, that might adjust to 69. That's true. And if that's the case, it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy if it goes to that. Daniel Schell's like getting her. I gotta get on there and vote thumbs down, even though it's against my every fiber in my being. I must, just to get the 69%. Okay. Show opens up. E minor chord, I think. I'm making that up. I'm totally making that up. It could be an A minor. It's a minor chord though. Ladies and gentlemen, Elias. So, by the way, wild card rule is just it's dead. Like whatever rules they came up with for it when they first created this thing as a reaction to, like, you know, declining ratings. And sorry, ratings still do count because USA Network thinks they count. I think that means something. Where they just totally eliminated the superstar shakeup, and now it's just a free for all. There is no brand split anymore, essentially. But they came up with a rule. Remember that rule? It was like supposed to be like 4 SmackDown members.
Of course.
And then all of a sudden it became like, well, if they're a champion, then that doesn't count. Now it's just like 10 million people.
Now it's a free for all. Like anybody just goes anywhere.
Now it's like when they started scaling the old draft back, when the old brand split back. When they started doing every Raw was a super show with Raw and SmackDown, and SmackDown still got the short end of the stick with only SmackDown wrestlers. I remember that very well. That was when I was recapping SmackDown. It's starting to feel like that. It's
that
starting to
type
feel
of
like
vibe. Yeah,
every
no,
Raw is a super show.
100%.
But SmackDown does get a little. It's a little better than when I was covering it. That's for sure. Even though those SmackDowns were damn good. If you look at SmackDown from, I'm sorry to go off on a little tangent here real quick, but if you look at SmackDown, it wouldn't be the show if I wasn't. If you look at SmackDown from like 2008 to like 2010, maybe early 2011, those were freaking darn good shows. I'm sorry. They had some great talent. Triple H, Jeff Hardy, The Undertaker was still going full time. Hell, they even brought back Paul Bearer at some point on that show. So check that out on the network if you ever really want to get some good stuff. That was my first years of recapping. I love that. I still love that. I love SmackDown forever because of that. Anyway, no clue where I was going here. Bring me back.
Because
the wild card sucks.
Yes, because the wild card.
The wild card sucks. And Quentin Walters even said it. Wild card rule totally sucks. It just feels desperate.
Well,
it just feels desperate.
Again, very
Did you say Barry?
No, Barry. Did I say Barry?
I
could have said
like
Barry.
You said Barry.
I don't know. I could have.
Barry's?
But the one continuity in WWE is that they have no continuity. So
yeah, exactly. All right, so Elias greets the crowd. Of course, he has to say something about Anthony Davis and going to L.A., and he's a piece of trash, and he likes to be around trash, so he's in L.A. And then he takes his shirt off his jacket off to reveal a referee shirt. So he's allegedly. So again, here's something that I'm not digging about WWE lately.
Okay.
And I get it. I already know. I already know the reaction. So save it. I already know. I already know what apologists will say. Well, Mike, card subject to change, brother. Oh, this sucks. They've been doing this thing for the last month and a half of promising something, not really, or promoting something, and then not delivering on it. If it happens once, okay. Twice, okay. 3 times on the Lesnar cash-in, and now it was, and I get it, I guess they want to keep it as a surprise and get you to tune into the pay-per-view, but they did say Baron Corbin was going to announce who his guest referee was going to be. They promoted it all night, they did the whole entire thing, and at the end of the day, guess what didn't happen? That's the stuff that turns people off. That's the stuff that, like, if I sat through now 4 episodes of Raw, and I'm saying this, and I still like the show, I swear to God. If I sat through 4 3-hour episodes of Raw where they teased to the end that something was going to happen, it didn't happen, only for it to, like, happen maybe later on the pay-per-view or never happen at all, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna just not watch the show. And just and maybe check online or
exactly.
or DVR it and just fast forward through all the crap.
I was about to say
rather
the same
than
thing.
watch it live.
I agree.
It turns people off. I'm sorry. It does.
I was about to say the same thing. If you are in a situation like that where once, twice, third time maybe, but the 4th or 5th time you're like, you know what? I'll catch the highlight online at that point.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, you just lose that kind of sense of wanting, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it just kills your desire to want to watch the show. It's kind of like our great president, number 43, George W. Bush said, "Fool me once, shame on you. If you fool me, you can't get fooled again." That's my favorite. We have an old saying down in Texas, which is probably the same. It's a great clip.
No, it's a great speech.
You gotta check that one out. You gotta check that one out. It's hilarious. I love the old Bushisms. Every now and then I go back and get a nice little YouTube video.
I was not expecting that
of Bush slamming his head on helicopters and just saying weird stuff. My favorite was, "Our infrastructure's working. The right hand knows what the left hand is doing." It's like, dude, the other way. Go the other way. Oh, he was.
Again,
so much fun.
Tangent.
He was so much fun. I don't know. No, that's ADHD. Totally. Anyway, Elias takes off his jacket. He's apparently going to be the referee for the Seth Rollins Baron Corbin match at WWE Stomping Grounds because it was so exciting at Super Showdown. We got to see it again. And Seth Rollins attacks him from behind with a steel chair, wipes him out, and he tells After everything he's been through with Brock Lesnar, he's done playing games. Corbin has to find himself a guest referee, but this message is for anyone considering the position. This is the first and last warning if you side with Corbin. He doesn't care what's promised to them. The chair is waiting on the other side. Then he walks off. Effective. Very effective. Sets the tone for the night. It was good. This was actually really good. And the better part was everybody from the Fatal 5-Way coming out after and just doing crap to Elias.
Yes.
Which, my God, think about where he was like 2 months ago, where he was like the star acquisition, like the Vince McMahon handpicked. This is the biggest acquisition in SmackDown history. Of course it's not, but like Elias seemed positioned for a big run as a heel, and then they realized this guy in long matches kind of stinks, and they've taken a big step back from that since then. Because remember, it was supposed to be Roman Reigns versus Elias, and
yes, of course.
Now it's just Elias just getting crushed by people, which is fine. It's fun. It's all harmless fun. Miz comes out, skull-crushing finale, which I'm sure you loved, with his George Mizanin shirt on.
I was going to say, I hope you weren't going to forget his George Mizanin shirt.
No, never. In fact, I want to get one. I want to figure out how to get one. Lashley gets in the ring, spears Elias. Cesaro makes his entrance and gives him the Cesaro swing. And then Ricochet comes out and hits a code breaker on him. And finally, Braun Strowman with the running power slam, which you have seen now 7,000 times on that GIF that I was just showing. That was effective. Elias is left for dead, which is fine. I sometimes it's okay for the faces to go over because so many of these shows are sometimes heel heavy, and it's like, ugh.
I appreciate a face getting over once in a while.
Yes, I agree. Because it's okay for the show to be heel heavy, like a main event heel, like every now and then you got to do that, obviously for story purposes. But usually on shows that happens on, it's like every heel on the show goes over. It's like you can't do that.
You can't do
that for 3 hours.
You can't make it so dominant. Absolutely not.
You can't do that for 3 hours.
And there were a few times tonight where the face got over. So which is good.
Correct.
Nice little change.
I agree 100%. Okay. So this leads us to a Fatal 5-Way elimination match. The Miz, Bobby Lashley, Cesaro, Ricochet, and Braun Strowman. This was actually a really fun Fatal 5-Way.
It really, really was. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Braun Strowman dominant at first, which was fine. Actually, there was a really, really cool spot with Cesaro. I'm going to show that GIF right now. If you're watching on Spotify, if you're listening on Spotify, or you're listening on iTunes, podcast, whatever you're listening us to, I am showing a GIF of Cesaro picking up Braun Strowman in a reverse torture rack and slamming him. Incredible, the strength of that guy. Incredible. And that was all within the first minute or so of the match. Cesaro slams Braun Strowman down. Strowman gets out of he goes for a neutralizer. Strowman gets out of it. Cesaro goes for a springboard, but he catches him with a running power slam. Cesaro's eliminated by Strowman. Bobby Lashley comes in the ring, gives Strowman a suplex, but pretty soon Strowman comes right back with a running power slam and eliminates him. So Braun Strowman has eliminated Cesaro and Bobby Lashley. So Strowman's posing, gets in the ring. Miz jumps on his back, and I think Ricochet. He goes outside and does the shoulder block train on Ricochet and Miz, which I love. I still love that spot. And then Lashley and Cesaro attack him from behind, neutralizer, and then Ricochet hit the 630 to pin Strowman, which is actually a nice little rub for Ricochet. Not bad at all. Good stuff, and that's a powerful neutralizer from Cesaro. He held him up there too. And Strowman's not a tiny guy. Obviously, everybody knows that.
You know what I really liked about this?
What's that?
About this match, just in general, the eliminations that took place. It didn't seem like I feel like most of the eliminations that took place, it seemed true to the character and to the individual, which was good, and it had a nice flow. Really good spots, but it wasn't a spot fest.
No. And in fact, I thought, I liked how they got Strowman out of the match. That's better than just Strowman and Lashley fighting to the back. It's well, they're in the back now. It's
exactly.
such a DQ.
Absolutely.
Even though it's a fatal 4-way elimination match. Oh, Sweet Lou's leaving. Take care, Sweet Lou. Good night, man. No cop-out finishes tonight.
Yeah,
no cop-out finishes.
Exactly. That's what I
where
really
they book themselves into a corner, and then they just forget, we made an elimination match. Now, damn, now we have to think of something.
No, everything, made sense overall.
But
but
actually, the best part of this match was Miz and Ricochet.
Oh my God,
they were great together. They were really good together.
Hey, I always said to everybody, Miz, very underrated.
I have to say though, number one, I just want to show the 630. This 630 that he hit on Miz was nasty. Oh my God, it was nasty. Really, really. Man, it doesn't even. It looks like he almost like bounced off a force field. Didn't like. It was just weird. I don't know. Impressive. Ricochet goes over Miz clean. He's going to be facing Samoa Joe for the WWE United States Championship at WWE Stomping Grounds. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, Ricochet is facing a Samoa Joe, and Samoa Joe attacks him from behind, and Ricochet stands tall. So that's good. Ricochet put over strong here.
Remember how when we were talking about Ricochet and how we were nervous, we're like, okay, we don't mind like certain losses. You know what I mean? I mean, he wound up winning, but I'm saying in general, like with people going over, we don't mind like in certain scenarios him losing or being whatever, but it has to be done correctly.
Yes.
Do you know what? So again, him taking over and everything, but getting attacked, like, but it wasn't done in a weird way where you're like, oh, he just looks like an idiot now.
Right.
So
no, Strowman didn't look bad coming out of that at all, and in fact, it seems like they're going to be building up something with Cesaro and Lashley against Strowman. We'll probably see something come up with that soon. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Now, question for you,
me
as the resident misfit here.
Okay.
Since coming over to Raw. He obviously on SmackDown positioned a little stronger, I think. Since coming over to Raw, he's been positioned as kind of almost enhancement talent. The feud with Shane McMahon is in the past now, and since coming over to Raw, I think Miz has yet to make an impact.
So now by enhancement talent, I just want to confirm what that means.
Like jobber
helping
to the stars.
Other people.
Yeah, jobber to the
but
stars.
But not being the
not being the focus, not really having any direction right now.
I can't say I fully disagree.
Okay.
I wouldn't say he's a full version of that enhancement talent. I think his time on SmackDown has definitely proven to people who were always on the fence about him. I think he's established himself enough so to be put in that position where he doesn't necessarily need to be like, I'm okay with him enhancing other people, but at the same token, because I'm a huge fan of his, I want him to be in the same category. Like I always kind of want him to be like in the same category as like one of the big stars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, and again, I'm not just saying this because I'm a huge fan of his. He really is though. If you look at everything that he does, like he knows how to perform.
Yes,
so,
he does.
And there's something to be said about that. So like you can't like knock him out. I would love to see one day have him actual legitimate like big story on Raw. Most likely it may not happen though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think too you know what though? I don't think he minds like being in the position that he's in. I really, really don't. I mean, I know at SmackDown he's like you said, he's more, you know, they have him showcase more, which absolutely agree with you. But I think with him and his new like time in his life and everything, I think he's okay with that, you know?
Yeah.
He's kind of one of those guys like eventually like you use him because you know he will put in a good match with somebody, and no matter what you're going to generate some sort of conversation, some talk about it. Mm-hmm. So, and I think he's okay with that.
Yeah. He could live with that. Yeah, I think he's pretty resilient. I think he'll be okay. Although I would like to see, I do think he's good. I think he's a little underutilized right now, but you know, there's only so many spots, and I'd rather more quality over quantity in that sense. I don't think everybody needs to be on the card every single time. I don't think everybody needs to be on the pay-per-view every single time.
Well,
so
that's what I mean. Like I don't
kind of
think
like what's going on here,
right, and I don't think he necessarily, unless they have something like huge going on for him. Let him do the enhancement stuff right now because he's not looking bad by doing it.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and he had a very, very competitive looking exchange with Ricochet, and he hung in there with him. It was good stuff. All right, Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch makes her way to the ring. She calls out Lacey Evans. They have a little exchange. Lacey Evans, which I would absolutely not have done this whatsoever. They actually called attention to the fact that she's a real United States Marine. And
so you didn't like that?
I don't like
Why?
that. I don't like them using it as a heel thing. I think she should just be doing the heel thing, kind of going on, just her dastardly deeds, because it's hard for me to boo a United States Marine.
Yeah.
Like that's actually a freaking awesome story. And if and when she, if she sticks around and she has some staying power and they want to make her a face, that's a face story all the way around. And I'd rather hear that story for the first time with her as a face. I think that would have more impact than just a throwaway segment. We've seen these two go back and forth, on the microphone for weeks now. There's not really much else they could do. I don't know what value it is to mention that she's a Marine.
Okay,
a heel.
I'm gonna make a very strong statement right now.
Okay.
I think WWE listens to us, but they took it the wrong way, because we said we would love for them to have Lacey Evans' side, that showing that she was the Marine.
Right.
We rather but like you said, you rather in the capacity of her being a face,
right,
and not being, because you want, cause how could you really boo a Marine?
Can't boo a Marine. Courage, bravery, Semper Fi.
Everything that exemplifies his country and whatever.
Right.
So.
Right. and she's a Marine going against a person from Ireland. So now it's a member of the armed forces facing somebody from another country. Like, how the hell can you boo her?
So I was just saying, I think they listened to our show, though, because they're like, oh, yeah, we should incorporate that. But wait a minute, she's a heel. So now it's kind of like,
It makes no sense. It just makes, I don't know. Yeah. To me, I was just like, what is that? And seriously, it's a really big thing that, honestly, how many women have they had in the company that have been Marines? Not many. I would say
I was very impressed when I heard that.
She might be the first. I can't say for sure. I'm sure there might have been somebody else. But, that's not something you just do in a throwaway segment. That's something if she catches fire, if she gets it all together in the ring, she has a good character. She's good on the microphone. She's comfortable. She looks like she's been there before,
right,
which is important for
right.
somebody who's new to the roster. You look like you've been there before. If she catches fire in a year, they turn her face. How cool would that be to say, and I would, I've learned how to persevere from my time as a Marine. Yes, I was a Marine, and this is what I did in the Corps and all this stuff. And instead of I don't know. I didn't like that move at all. Well, yeah, Randy M has mentioned that Randy Orton was a Marine, but he went AWOL. Which would, and he actually got, I believe Randy Orton got a dishonorable discharge because he left base. He didn't want to be a Marine. He went home, hid, and I think he actually did some time in military prison as well, believe it or not. But I'm talking strictly female talents as
because there've been other people who've been in the armed
forces.
Oh,
there have been tons. Road Dogg was a member of the armed forces.
They had a whole showcase, and I remember it was with the current roster, or fairly recent roster, and those have also been in the company, and Lacey Evans was one, and that's how I found out about Lacey Evans. I was like,
right.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I didn't know that.
That's a thing.
That's a thing. I had no idea. Yeah. So it was just interesting, but
right.
No, I get I totally get what you're saying. I don't know if people will necessarily care enough, but yes, in the grand scheme of things, they should have waited till, where people are going to be cheering for her rather than booing for her. Because again, you can't really boo.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be positioning. You just shouldn't be positioning somebody who's acknowledging now that they have served our country, served the United States of America in its armed forces as a Marine. You shouldn't be positioning them to be booed.
The only thing,
you just shouldn't.
The only thing I will say that they could turn it around in the sense of if Becky Lynch eventually, right, if she like, let's say Lacey Evans keeps mentioning the fact that she was a Marine and that she's
God,
top.
I wouldn't.
But let's just say she goes that route, right?
Let's
let's just play that out.
Okay, quick.
But if Lynch says to her, "Oh, I respect you," if their feud changes a little bit, it could work.
Well, that obviously didn't happen tonight.
No,
because she said she was a Marine and that she's classy, and then she got slammed and Becky Lynch stole her hat. So no respect for the Marines here.
Right, but if she did show the respect and they changed her feud, it would work. That's the only way I could see it working.
They already bungled that, so
okay.
So there's that.
All right, I'm just saying.
All right, so finally, 2 weeks ago, the last time we did, or actually 3 weeks ago, I guess it was Memorial Day. The last time we did a post Raw, we were wondering, where in the blue hell are the Viking Raiders? Where are they? We need them stat. And we finally got a Viking Raider sighting tonight. They annihilated a jobber tag team. But before they did that, we had Daniel Bryan and Rowan on the stage saying that they are the greatest tag team in WWE history. And they call the people of Los Angeles the impotent masses, ignorant and impotent people. LA's smog capital of the world. Brian is here. He understands why the McMahon family asked him to be here, because as a wild card, because Raw and Los Angeles suck. He's not wrong about Raw. Raw sucks most of the time. But anyway, he said he's going to show why that they're the greatest tag team. And they had to stare down the Viking Raiders. And I was like, I'd like to see that. I would like to see that. Foreshadow. Even though every time Brian takes a bump, it scares me. Still, I'm still not over it yet. As soon as the match was over, they went to ringside, and there's Carmella and our WWE 24/7 champion R-Truth. Carmella's dressed like Charlie Chaplin, I think, and a bunch of Raw losers run down, and R-Truth gets away. I'm not a fan of more championships in WWE. I'm not. I think that that every single title across the board are extraordinarily devalued. They have no meaning, and I get it, they're props, but when titles have no meaning, it's hard to get invested in a show where everybody's supposed to be chasing this now meaningless prop. But I will concede this.
R-Truth is literally
Can I concede first?
No. What? I'm allowed to speak.
I'm conceding. Then you can speak. I'm going to say that R-Truth, this title was made for him. He is this title, and he is better with this title. Now you may speak.
I was going to say the same thing, so...
Yeah, but why would you take what I was going to say?
Because I'm thinking the same thing.
Okay, but I already thought it, and I was getting ready to say it.
You're so rude.
You're rude.
You're rude.
How dare you steal my thoughts?
I'm not stealing your thoughts. I think many people would agree with you. So you're not the first one who had those thoughts, Mike Tedesco.
Yes. Daniel Shaw, F you, fun things are fun. Well, sometimes what you think is fun, other people don't think is fun. So F you back. But anyway, I'm kidding. This actually is one of those things that are fun. But sometimes when people scream "F you," fun things are fun. They're not always fun.
I think and
it's just grasping
an
at straws.
accident.
But yeah,
because they were literally forced to have this title. But fun, really, just good. And R-Truth is literally the only individual who can do this. He is.
No doubt. This title. It's R-Truth's title, and he should retire undefeated as the 24/7 champion.
Yeah, it should go down with him.
Yes. Okay, so we have this thing. Shane McMahon's in a VIP lounge. They kind of show you this all night. You kind of know something bad's going to happen. Drew McIntyre, the Revival, are partying with Shane. And Heath Slater comes in, asks Shane for a raise, and Shane declines him. He leaves. McIntyre goes outside. These are former 3MB stablemates.
Yes.
So he goes, I know your family. I want to give you some money. And then he drops the money and attacks Slater. And actually, it was kind of, it was kind of a brutal attack. I'm very, very conscious of people now with head injuries in wrestling, and he was slamming Slater's head off the wall pretty hard. And I was looking at his hands. I was trying to see if maybe he had his hand positioned behind his head and was kind of slamming his hand more against the. No, he was actually the head was making contact. So that was a very rough night for Heath Slater. And also puts over that Drew McIntyre is an absolute killer. Sorry, I'm looking at the headline for the next segment. Sammy and Kevin show a special guest Baron Corbin. Corbin is now going to announce who is the guest referee. And to show you how little I think of this guy, when Corbin said this guy was born to count to 3. And I was like, oh, wow, they're going to bring out Sean Waltman in his old 1, 2, 3 kid gimmick. Because the last thing on my mind was EC3. I forgot he was on the roster. I forgot. So EC3 comes out, and immediately he's attacked by Seth Rollins with the steel chair, and he's dead. That brings out the New Day, who then proceeds to get challenged by Corbin and Kevin Owens, and all those people. They proceed to use EC3. The New Day proceeds to use EC3's limp body in a scene out of Weekend at Bernie's, a 30-year-old movie which they referenced to sanction this match. And I gotta say, I liked Weekend at Bernie's, so I got a real kick out of that. Reference. I don't know how many people will understand that reference, but this was actually pretty funny. At the same time, my other thought was, okay, if EC3 wasn't dead on the main roster before, he's definitely dead now. And then I was like, you know what? Number one, when he was in NXT, I wasn't like, oh my God, EC3 is great. Like I actually thought that EC3 kind of stinks. I don't see, like, what they're doing in NXT with, match rate and all that stuff. It's next level. And I was just like, EC3 being there can't do anything but bring down the quality of the match. He's just not that guy. And so he wasn't going to come up to the main roster and be dominant. He's just not that guy. But surprise of the century, this guy could be the next Santino Marella. Like, just this like dopey rich guy who just does goofy crap. And gets himself caught in goofy situations. His face during this thing, the Weekend at Bernie's thing, was actually pretty funny. So I actually got a good kick out of this. It was good comedy. But if his career as a serious main roster competitor is pretty much dead. It's dead. So there's that. Anyway, so he sanctioned this match with tag team Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Baron Corbin versus the New Day. And then when we came back from commercial, so you're like, okay, whatever. It's typical Raw. Now it's the middle of the show, and we get a tag team match. But, hey, you know what? They made it a 2 out of 3 falls match out of nowhere. So it just, even though it's the same formula, it kind of changed things up a bit. And now, that was the good part. There was a questioning booking decision. What did you think of the EC3 thing, by the way? Have you ever seen Weekend at Bernie's?
I have not.
Okay, so. That's gonna go on our movie list.
Yeah.
Anybody else in the chat room who has seen Weekend at Bernie's? I don't think you can watch that movie and not enjoy it, but I'm sure I will be proven wrong. So the New Day goes, Sami Zayn gets rolled up by, I believe it was Xavier Woods for the first fall. Yes, I'm correct. And so, typical 2 out of 3 falls, you think that Owens, Zayn, and Corbin are going to go over, but no. The New Day pins them they beat them in a 2 out of 3 falls, two falls to nothing. And surprise of all, Baron Corbin, who is going to face Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal Championship this Sunday, takes the fall over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who are facing Xavier Woods and Big E at Stomping Ground. You tell me whose match is more important and who should be losing heading into Stomping Ground.
No,
yes,
it's very true.
I get it. Corbin was left standing tall at the end of the show, but you know what? A lot of people don't watch the third hour. Your last impression of Baron Corbin might be that he lost, and it's like, why would I want to watch him now get a title?
So
match?
that was to say, is that we're questioning booking decision as far as?
Yes, I get it. He got pinned by the WWE champion, so it's not like it was nothing. And he also got attacked by Kevin Owens, because he accidentally clotheslined Sami Zayn. But still, why would Baron Corbin lose? I don't understand why you would have him lose.
Can I be honest with you though? I don't fully agree with you on it. I think in this particular, I was actually pleasantly surprised of how they kind of worked everything out in this match. And the reason why I say that is like, I feel like Baron Corbin is this golden child of the WWE right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's been so many instances where he has come out on top. Yeah. And like even the end of the night. But in this particular moment, I think that to kind of showcase like, okay, like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn walk out on him, and his one finisher move like didn't work out in his favor. Like he wasn't the man in this particular moment. Who knows? Maybe they're really not trying to do like a whole like typical formula, like, oh, you win, the other person's going to win the other, like, wow. at the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like
you mean the even Steven?
Yeah, the whole even Steven booking type thing. I did not agree. Like I said, I don't agree with you on that, only because I feel like I actually like the dynamic of this whole entire match. Like the fact that New Day came out on top and that Baron Corbin wasn't this shining star. You know what I mean? So it leaves you to question, like...
I get it, but if... I didn't think that their match at Super Showdown was good, and granted, not a lot of people saw it, and it was kind of a glorified house show. But it's tough to get excited, and this is just facts.
Well, I think he's the perfect person to be in this position, though, because it's like, does anybody actually believe that he's gonna win?
Well, I don't know. Logical booking says he loses and he should win on Sunday, but like here's the thing, I get it. He's a heel. You're not supposed to like him. That's fine, but he still has the stink of that really bad period from the winter on him. And it's just like, anytime I see Baron Corbin on television, I have to remind myself that, yes, I get paid to do this. So I'm going to recap the show. But if I was watching, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to just switch channel until this guy's off. Cause I'm just beyond tired of seeing his face. And him getting a title match doesn't exactly gird my loins here. I mean, I'm not excited about this, and the thinking about a summer full of Baron Corbin title opportunities makes me want to take a break for the summer. It just does. It's just not an exciting matchup. It's not something that I want to see. It's not something I care to see. I don't care if Seth Rollins beats him. I don't care if he beats Seth Rollins. I just don't care to see it at all. That's not where you want to be.
I think whether he wound up on top tonight or not, you were getting the same reaction. I'm just being honest.
No, no question about it. We haven't had a chance to talk about Baron Corbin getting another title opportunity. Yes, I don't think that yes, they built him up and they built him up well. But it's just not something that gets me excited. It's not something that gets a lot of people excited. Like I associate him a lot with that really, really bad period of Raw. Yeah. So, but that doesn't mean that logic goes out the window. That doesn't mean logic goes out the window at all. So if you're going to go with him as your number one contender and have him face Seth Rollins for the title at the pay-per-view, why would you make him look weak going into the match? Why would you devalue him? I don't know. Like, the team can still lose the match, but why can't Sami Zayn? Why couldn't Corbin clothesline Sami Zayn and then get drop kicked out of the ring and the New Day hits Zayn with Trouble in Paradise? How could that have hurt? I
don't know. I think because it's Baron Corbin, I just don't care.
Well, there you go. Okay.
No, I'm being serious. If it were anybody else, like let's just pretend that we're the Miz, and I'm not even going to say somebody who I like close to the Miz, or I just happen to like more so than Baron Corbin, maybe I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I probably would agree with you. I would probably strongly agree with you with the fact that, yeah, you're not going to make them like look like a loser, look like a chump at the end of the match in that particular moment. I would agree with you, but because it's Baron Corbin, I don't care.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Okay. So, Paul Heyman out in the ring. He just wants to remind you that Brock Lesnar could cash in whenever. Is he here tonight? Is he here going to be on Sunday? Is he going to be on next Monday? He might be here, maybe not. But the crowd doesn't know. But most importantly, the soon-to-be former reigning defending undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins also doesn't know. So I like that a lot better than, hey, he's going to cash in tonight. Tune in, and it never happens. I'd rather have Paul Heyman out there reminding you every week. That's good heel stuff. Hey, just remember, he could cash in whenever he wants, so that when he finally does cash in, it's like, oh my God, here he is. Here it comes. That's something that get people excited about, Lesnar again. That was simple. That was like a no-brainer.
Paul Heyman's just fantastic. Let's put it that way. He just really knows he knows wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's a no-brainer just to do that. That's easy. And Paul Heyman could do that all day long. This one was nasty, actually. Baron Corbin talking to Eric Young backstage. Eric Young, like, why does this guy even exist? Like, my God, they did nothing with him when he was on SmackDown. Sanity's totally dead. They never even got a chance. He comes over to Raw. He's immediately a nothing guy. Sometimes I just don't understand the value in having these people here. Anyway, he bumps into Seth Rollins and he's like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna be the referee." So he comes off as a total wimp, total loser, which is fine, whatever. I don't know if he's a heel or a face or what the hell he is. I don't know, but apparently him and Rollins were friends at some point. And then Seth Rollins just annihilates him with the chair. Man, that was nasty. He was just slamming that thing on his back. And because it was backstage and there's not a lot of crowd noise there, you can hear every single connection. It was just a vicious beatdown. I
don't think we talked about this at all, but I loved how throughout the night they had Seth Rollins doing this.
Yes.
That was really, really good.
Right.
And it didn't matter if you were friends, if you weren't, like face, heel, whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody was off limits.
Yep.
To the chair.
Yep.
Really good.
I like that a lot. And you know what? It kind of gave him an edge. You don't have to be like the super happy-go-lucky babyface all the time. He's fed up with the Brock Lesnar stuff, and this is what he's doing. I'm done playing games. So you want to pick a guest referee? Fine. I'm going to destroy everybody that you pick until there's nobody left. And then we just have to have I'm done playing games. So that was good. The face snapped. The face didn't look like a fool. I like that a lot. Gallows and Anderson versus the Usos. Before this match, AJ Styles, apparently who has been cleared to compete again, that's what they said in the trainer's room, talked to Gallows and Anderson and said that they've gotten complacent. They're happy making money, but they lost their edge pretty much. So Gallows and Anderson said they were going to get their edge back. And I am seeing right now in my recap, and I will show everybody just so they can see that, yes, everybody makes boo-boos. I have to go back and fix that. By the time you see this tomorrow, it'll already be fixed. The Usos beat Gallows and Anderson, but Gallows and Anderson were definitely taking it more seriously. I put winners by pinfall Gallows and Anderson by accident. But, yeah, it was a very short match. AJ Styles was left shaking his head because right in the middle of the match, Gallows and Anderson did the too sweet pose, and then they got beat. So, good story. Simple story. Simple. Doesn't have to be a crazy, drawn-out story.
No, well, definitely not.
So, this could be a reuniting of the club. Might not be a bad thing, especially if Styles is as banged up as they say he is. If Styles is as banged up as they say he is, I think he should be in a stable right now. Mm-hmm. The club reuniting, they can do 6-man tags. Takes a lot of the pressure off of Styles as he's recovering. Did you hear? So they showed Hulk Hogan in a Twitter video. The video apparently is from yesterday. He was rooting on the USA Women's World Cup team, who are killing it right now. When they showed him, I know they showed it to the crowd as well. Did you hear boos for the Huckster?
I think so.
I think I heard some people like, So,
but that was to be expected, though.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
I honestly, I haven't heard it since he's made. He's only made a few appearances though. But like WrestleMania was like across the board, everybody loved him.
mm-hmm.
But
I wasn't 100% surprised, but yeah, I definitely heard some.
Yeah. Okay. Roman Reigns comes out. He said he's not here to make excuses. That's not entertaining. What is entertaining is him whooping someone's ass. So he calls Shane McMahon out. Shane appears on the Titantron, makes Mike Rome do the intro for him, talking about how he's going to he turns it over to McIntyre, who says he's going to physically disfigure Roman Reigns, and he wants his children to scream at the sight of him. Reigns goes backstage, crashes the VIP party, kills the Revival, punches McIntyre, slams him through a table, chases Shane McMahon back into the ring, and spears him down. Superman punch and spears. I was actually surprised to see him get this much offense on Shane. I thought Shane was going to get away, especially after they did a long video package of Shane beating him. And for my money, this is the summer program. You know, I really do think Roman Reigns is probably going to wind up facing Shane McMahon at SummerSlam.
I would look forward to seeing that too. So
I don't know if I look forward to it, but that's what I think is going to happen.
I look forward to it. I do.
Okay, all right. So we have someone who's excited to see Roman Reigns versus Shane McMahon again.
Only because it just seems like, I don't know. I think the more this kind of like builds up and everything, like it just, Roman looked really strong tonight, and I just want him to get like that. And I feel like no matter what, if you get a storyline with a McMahon, you're kind of like gonna get back into that momentum. So I really want him to kind of gradually get back into him being on top. So
Okay, all right. So so Roman Reigns looked really strong in this. I'm actually going to predict him to lose at Stomping Grounds this Sunday. So we shall see. We shall see. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I've missed just about a week and a half of WWE television. I didn't watch any SmackDown. I don't know anything that really happened on those shows with everything going on. I don't think the Iconics have had a women's tag team championship match in that time. This might constitute their very first defense since WrestleMania. The Iconics,
I know they haven't had, because remember we were talking about that where like they've never had a title defense. Yeah. But then again, we don't know what happened these past 2 weeks, so maybe
I highly doubt they had any tag team championship matches for the women's tag team championship matches. The Iconics versus Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. Bayley's at ringside. Alexa Bliss and Bayley get into a shoving match outside. Nikki Cross gets pinned by I forget who it was. I think it was Peyton Royce or somebody like that. Anyway, Iconics win, and that builds up Alexa Bliss versus Bayley on Sunday. Nikki Cross wants Alexa Bliss to crush Bayley's dream since Bayley crushed hers. And they kind of did this thing where they kind of teased like maybe, Bayley isn't who she says she is. I kind of like that. Like even though they tried to insinuate it was Alexa Bliss, Bayley's doing some things. I guess she's getting a little more edgier where she's kind of losing some of that good girl, kind of like friendly neighborhood, neighbor girl, and
the reason why I like that aspect of it too is because
a lot. She needs to freshen up.
Most certainly. And like she's such a goody two shoes that the fact that she wouldn't, like high five a fan or whatever,
right.
like who's like
if that's true,
if that's true or not,
But they definitely left Natalya and Naomi saying, would she really do that?
Yeah.
And so I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, they got me interested here.
Well, you know why I like that? Because if Sasha were like back in the company with Bayley, because that's always kind of been like Sasha's thing too, not only like her in-ring ability, but also her devotion to the fans and how like as she is outside of it. So it's kind of cool like how they could have used that with something with Sasha, but since Sasha's not here, they use it with they use it with Bayley. Because somebody who's like supposedly like very like I love my fans and like I love the WWE universe and whatever. So all right, stop. I'm just saying like that's
that name shall be Voldemort on the show. She who must not be named.
All right, sorry.
Anyway, I kind of like the. Now I just have to say this, and I'm not gonna harp on it. I'm not gonna go crazy on it. I just want to say that the Iconics. I might as well just read what I wrote in my tweet. The Iconics have a fun little shtick on promos, but in the ring they are god awful, and they were bad in this match, man. They were bad. They devalue titles that are nearly devoid of any value whatsoever. They are just... there is absolutely no reason to have women's tag team championships. There's no reason. They're pointless. They are totally pointless.
Okay.
And the Iconics make these pointless titles even worse. Moving on,
because I agree.
Firefly Funhouse. To me, first of all, again, it really is like I don't know how much input he has, but I have a feeling Bray Wyatt does have a lot of input on these things, especially since he was the one who created the mask thing. This felt like a culmination of the Firefly Funhouse. All of a sudden, it was like, you know, all the characters appear. They say, "Let him in." Then all of a sudden, he appears as the Fiend, and he says, "Let me in." That he created this place to feel safe, and then the Fiend comes out, and then he flickers on the screen and disappears. To me, it felt like a culmination of the Firefly Funhouse. I think we're going to be seeing Bray Wyatt, if not this Sunday, maybe next Monday on Raw.
Yeah.
Freaky.
Yeah.
It was freaky as hell.
Did you see on Instagram?
I did.
He posted with JoJo and Baby Nash. I was like,
oh my God, that was crazy. Oh, I have to see if I can find that.
I was like, good Lord. I was like, our baby will never see that.
Oh my God, that would make
our baby will not be part of the Firefly Funhouse. Yeah, I mean, this was something else. So, I mean, I really think he does have creative control over this, because this just kind of screams Bray Wyatt all over it. You know what I mean? But this is just, everything about this is just, I don't want, I'm like, I want him to come back, but I don't want him to come back, because like, I just want to keep this going, of this excitement and this anticipation of what he's going to do with all this.
Oh, I think I found it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Yes, I have it up.
Because he's not Bray Wyatt on Instagram.
No. Yeah, there's Bray Wyatt in his Fiend mask with his... Are they married?
They're not married.
They're not married. So his girlfriend, JoJo, and their baby. With him with the full Fiend getup on. That's pretty freaking rad, man. That's pretty freaking cool. That's awesome. Daniel Schell, Firefly Daycare. Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
I love that. I love that idea. So I believe we might be seeing... I think we might be seeing The Fiend on Raw very soon. So either...
I want it, but I don't want it. Because like I said,
I want more Firefly Funhouse. I actually love it. But that thing where they kind of like, you know, do the Muscle Man dance thing, like, and they did different styles of music for it. It was pretty sweet. Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins is our main event. And they promoted that, number one, Seth Rollins has never defeated Daniel Bryan. Okay. To me, Daniel Bryan is, yeah, I get it. It's actually good for the SmackDown tag teams to have him there, but Daniel Bryan, severely miscast in a tag team. He's freaking awesome. Should be doing way more than that. Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins has never beat Daniel Bryan. That to me sounds like a money pay-per-view match, not a throwaway thing on Raw.
For Stomping Grounds.
For Stomping Grounds, where Rollins isn't even going to face Daniel Bryan. Questionable booking decisions. They started wrestling, and no sooner did they start, but Rowan caught Rollins and hit him with a claw slam on the apron. So for DQ, all of a sudden, the New Day run down Owens, Zayn, the Revival. Usos and New Day clear the ring, and the Usos then hit stereo dives, and the match is restarted with everyone banned from ringside. And my question was, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You know, like why couldn't they just let them have like a regular match?
Yeah.
Because they can, of course, the two guys that can actually go get this kind of like gimmicky thing that shortens their match, and I guess it's supposed to make things exciting.
Yeah.
But it made no sense for all those guys to be out there just doing random stuff.
They
What stake did Owens and Zayn have in coming out there? What was in it for them at all?
Well, wasn't it for anybody but Rollins and Daniel Bryan necessarily? And to be honest with you, again, why are you going to put this type of match on? these are two quality wrestlers.
I know.
This is not the Raw to be doing it on. Like, this is maybe a Raw after pay-per-view, and if they were having a match against each other, but they're not even facing each other. So it made no sense. And you don't need all the extra hoopla in order to promote these two. People like them. People want to see them together.
People know that they can go, and people want to see that match. Now, I get it. You don't want to give it away on Raw, but again, you've never beat me. I'll see you at SummerSlam or whatever, whatever pay-per-view you want to name. That's the money match to me. So you don't want to give it all away on Raw, but you also don't want to give away a big money result. Seth, so they kind of booked themselves in a corner here. They restart the match. Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins go on to have an action-packed, awesome, one of the better 10 minutes of wrestling on Raw that I've seen in a while, in a singles match at least. And Seth Rollins beats him clean with the stomp. So there's that money thing right out the window.
Yeah, if there were me, this is what I would have done. Since Baron Corbin lost his match tonight, right? Mm-hmm. And since Daniel Bryan and since Seth Rollins never defeated Daniel Bryan. That's what I thought they were
doing. This is what I thought they were doing.
And since So since since Seth Rollins never defeated Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins loses.
Right.
So then you're left. Then you left up in the air like, who is going to win on Sunday? Like,
right.
Because you're like, and then it still leads you to a Daniel Bryan Seth Rollins feud down the line. Their match.
Exactly.
But here's exactly what's indicative of having too many writers and so many going through and rotating and not saying and not whatever. If there's been a writer who's been there for a really, really long time, but there hasn't been. But if there's been a writer who's been there for a really, really long time, would have picked up on that. You know what I mean? Would have been like, this is a really good opportunity. We're kind of killing two birds with one stone. We have two people who are having this main event match with this title match on Sunday. They'll both lose, so you don't really know who's going to win, who's going to come out on top. And you have somebody who has been facing this individual who's never beaten them. So we're still bringing that like suspense, but we also have something set up for later on.
Right, and we also have stuff that makes
sense.
But
again, writers aren't there long enough to even realize that.
Right. And one of the job searches that they did on I think it was Indeed.com was they were looking for someone to keep track of continuity. Guess that's not working out so well. That job did get filled, but I don't think it's working out too well.
So I would suggest WWE look into especially this particular segment.
And just like Daniel Schell says, and this is a thing, everybody says don't use logic, but I don't know why wanting things to make sense on a television show is such a bad thing. But Daniel's right. WWE doesn't care about your logic, but it just stinks. It's just silly. It's just silly. WWE doesn't care about logic, that's for sure. But I know they care about making money. I know they care about money feuds. Hey,
but that's something so simple.
I'm not saying it's that would draw oh my God, it's gonna be $1 million gate to see Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan, but that's a match that they've never done where it had a big pay-per-view run or anything like that. That's a fresh matchup, and I'm not saying even having the fact that Seth Rollins has never beaten Daniel Bryan would even draw money. I'm sure if they did the feud anyway, it would be great. But it's just another wrinkle to the feud that could help it draw. So you just gave it away on Raw. That's my point. That's my point. But that does not deter from the fact that this was freaking awesome. They had a great match. This was actually a pretty easy 3 hours to watch. It really, really was. And I'm not amped up for Stomping Grounds, but I am amped up just to be back, watching wrestling and talking on the post show and chatting with everybody. So that's cool.
I'll say thumbs up.
I'm going to say thumbs up too. People still have it at 71% thumbs up.
So it's not 69.
Not 69, not yet, but that thing was dipping. I was like, oh my God, it's going to go.
I think people they just want to have it.
It's going to go. It was
Watch by tomorrow, it'll be 69 at some point.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. But yeah, so I am very excited to announce that I will be back on Wrestleview Live this Sunday with Mr. Doug Lackey talking about the WWE Stomping Grounds show. right after the pay-per-view comes to an end. And I really hope it's like Money in the Bank where it ends at like 10:30. That would be so ideal. So ideal. But it doesn't matter because our last day of school is on Friday. So I really don't have much to do that next day after that pay-per-view Sunday. So cool beans. All right. With that, I think we should tie this up in a bow, wrap it up. Do you have any final departing thoughts about this show?
No, I enjoyed it, and I'm happy that, I'm at a comfortable place with WWE right now.
Yes.
If they keep shows like this, I'll actually be happy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy. I'm not angry tonight. No angry Mike. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Everybody who's in the chat room, keeping it lively. Daniel, Quentin, Mr. V in the chat room, killing it. I'm so happy to see Mr. V there. Yowie Wowie, Mr. V sighting. Randy M, Kit. We got Nafis, we got Quentin, we got Billy. I know we got a whole bunch of people in here. Thank you, everybody. We hope you have a great week, and we'll catch you on Post Raw next Monday.
Mm-hmm. Check us out. Have a good night.
And a good week. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on, wait. We have to pose because I'm not going to go through trying to find a screenshot for our thumbnail later on. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, great. Good night, everybody.
Bye.